Hey everybody, welcome back to The Stuff of Legend. My name is D'Lo and I've got another video for you guys. I wanted to go over some movie news with you. The 10 reasons why Disney Plus will kill Netflix. And I've thought about this a lot, but we're going to be going over the official Twitter account of Disney to verify everything that I'm saying, to make sure that I show you guys what it is that I'm saying, that it's factually correct. So that you guys don't have to worry about that, okay? You don't have to take me at my word. We're going to do this together. So, welcome back. I just wanted to make sure that you guys had a second to get ready, go with me. You guys can feel free to join me if you guys are on a phone or a home computer or a tablet or something like that. You can check this out for yourself. It's on Disney's public Twitter, all right? So, I'm just going to be trickling through there. I've got my notes here on the side. I'm going to be telling you guys the 10 reasons why Netflix is going to get crushed by Disney Plus's streaming service. So, let's take a look, all right? So, first, let's talk about the price, okay? So, first, for this one, Disney Plus price. I'm not sure if this one was, in fact, on Twitter here, but I wanted to show you guys where I had gathered this was compare $6.99 is what the Disney Plus streaming service is going to be. That's what they announced it to be. And then you can compare that to competitors like Netflix, who at the minimum are running $9 right now. $9 is the minimum, and then you can pay premiums and you can go up from there. But Netflix has $9 versus $6.99, which is $7 essentially. That's pretty darn cheap, guys. I mean, that's really, really cheap, especially for the amount of content they have coming. And I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. There's a lot that's coming. So let me see if I can find these for you. Here we go. One day ago it was announced. Where is this one? CNBC.com. Disney's $6.99 per month streaming immediately makes it a value winner over Netflix for families. You can see dozens of articles that are just like this coming from Bob Iger, coming from major news networks that are, they're either reputable, but as far as business goes, you can pretty much trust most of these things. They try to keep very factual about these things. And as far as Disney goes, they've said the same. I have scrolled down in the past, like yesterday, and I was looking at this, and that's why I came up with the idea for the video. But $6.99 is nothing, guys. I do I do Netflix, I have Hulu, I've got Amazon Prime, I've got the DC streaming service, and I am certainly, for this price, I am definitely going to be buying this. Now, if this was any more expensive, like say, even if they had charged a ridiculous like $20, I probably still would have paid for that because I'm a huge Marvel guy. You guys already know this. And this is where all the Marvel content is going to be. And it's also a huge Star Wars platform where Star Wars is going to be launching stuff. So I'm going to get into that. Point number 2 is the Mandalorian series is to launch at launch on November 12th. Is it? I think it is. Yeah, November 12th. It says here on the Twitter. The first post right there. It all starts November 12th. You can see they're rolling through Disney, Pixar, Star Wars, Marvel, and National Geographic. That's another point I'm going to get to at the very bottom. But as far as number 2, The Mandalorian, I wanted to show you guys. Let me see if we got this. Look, they're already advertising that The Mandalorian is going to be the first the first major thing they're going to have on the platform as original content. They've already created this. Guess who's directing this, if you guys didn't already know? Jon Favreau. The guy who played Happy Hogan in Iron Man, who directed Iron Man, who helped produce he produced Infinity War, and he's helping produce Endgame. He's been a producer through the MCU since day one. The guy is a genius. He's a legend. He's the guy that's also making the current Lion King movie, the one that looks real. It looks like live action, but it's animated. He's making that, and he's a savage. And this guy is putting this together. I'm so excited. And he even had Dave Filoni on board, who was in charge of Star Wars creative through the animated series and whatnot, the ones that all the fans love and rave about. I personally love the Clone Wars, love Rebels. It's been really, really good. Great stories have been told. And the way that they weave the different story arcs together along with the movies and bolster the fandom all the way through is just so great. I love it so much. So this is looking really, really good. The Mandalorian, and that's going to be available on November 12th at launch. Okay, so if you're thinking about getting it, you will be able to watch this as soon as it launches. So, and then take a look at this also. they're showing off all this different content they're going to be having. Free Solo is something by National Geographic, and that's something that will be available on there as well. So again, to circle back to that later, let's go back into this previous page. So the Mandalorian series at launch after year 1, all Star Wars movies will be available to watch on Disney Plus. So I'm not sure exactly where this one, where this tweet went, but I saw this from Star Wars. They were saying that at launch, here, maybe it's in here. It's got to be in here. So Simpsons, Disney Plus. I'm going to circle back to some of these because this is what I'm talking about right here. But let's see. Nat Geo, Disney Plus, Nat Geo, live action. That's another thing. Live action Lady and the Tramp is making its way to Disney Plus. That's pretty cool. That's not even on my list, right? So let's take a look. Where did it go? Where's that one? Sorry, guys. I should have had this here. Talking about Star Wars. Oh, yeah. Cassian Andor series is going to be coming on the series as well. That's not at launch, but that will be happening. Lots and lots of news here for this, guys. Several of these things I'm not even talking about. So if you guys are with me on this, holy cow, it's going to be insane. But the reasons why I think it's going to crush Netflix is because there will be no competition for this. So everything that people like myself watch Netflix for is being ripped right off of Netflix. So, for instance, everything Star Wars and everything Marvel getting ripped right off of Netflix. And I'm not going to cancel Netflix, but if I was strapped for cash, I probably would. Because to me, this is much more important, especially having little kids. There's a lot more content on a Disney platform for kids than there would be on Netflix. And it's just, how do you keep up with, almost 100 years of Disney? How do you keep up with that? That's insane, man. Hang on, I wanted to show you guys that one. Look, they've been blasting Twitter up with this stuff, but they were saying about the Star Wars. I wanted to show you guys. Let me see if I can type it up and find it. After year 1, Disney Plus will have all Star Wars. Entire Star Wars. This one's by Deadline. Here, let's go here. So, story by Deadline. It says entire Star Wars franchise will be on Disney Plus within its first year. So this is what it's talking about here. So the original trilogy released blah 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 blah. Let's see where the actual statement is. Maybe we shouldn't just go blah blah blah. Original trilogy released. Also destined for Disney Plus, the J.J. Abrams directed Episode 7, Force Awakens, spin-off Rogue One, upcoming franchise capper, and yet unnamed Episode 9. Although we already know now what the Episode 9 title is, but in case you're waiting and you don't want that spoiled, I won't mention that here. But I'll mention that in another video. So Solo, the Han Solo spin-off, famously lost money, migrated to Netflix, was not mentioned in Kathleen Kennedy's remarks. Control over several installments in 20 thing. So once the gist of, here we go. It had been rumored for months that Disney was trying to negotiate a deal with Turner to get Star Wars movie titles back sooner in order to have them on Disney Plus. With Disney hungry to consolidate the offering and avoid any embarrassments of not having a comprehensive offering, one viable scenario is that it made an attractive offer to AT&T-owned Warner Media. While Warner Media is preparing a streaming service of its own, it has opted to license certain titles such as the Warner Bros. Produced Friends. When contacted by Deadline, the Warner Media rep declined to comment. It's remarkable to think that Episode 9 will represent the culmination of what George Lucas began 40 years ago with the Skywalker saga. Kathleen Kennedy said, characters from the films populate a mythology that has impacted audiences throughout multiple generations. So supposedly this person is not actually citing their source here. So they're not actually saying where they got that data. I've seen it on other sources as well. So I'll have to backtrace that. And if you guys find it, let me know in the comments where you're finding that as well, because I want to know that too. All right. So let's keep moving. I don't want to waste too much time on number 2. Number 3 is, number 4. So number 4 is a little something called WandaVision. All right. And so WandaVision is going to be Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany starring together as Wanda Maximoff and Vision in the new Disney Plus series WandaVision. And you guys might be thinking, hey, isn't that a little random? Or hey, didn't they die in Infinity War? Or hey, does that automatically mean that they're going to survive Endgame? Well, that doesn't necessarily mean those things. I mean, so like we know that they died in Infinity War. We know that they're getting this series, which is supposedly... we know that time moves forward, so whenever this is going to launch will be after Avengers Endgame. That doesn't necessarily mean they survive, though. Some of these things might in fact be prequels. They might be happening in the missing days and years and months between the last times we saw them in Infinity War. It very well could be. Now, I don't think they are. I think they're going to be moving forward in time. I think that something is going to happen in Endgame that will bring them back. That's my personal opinion and theory. But nevertheless, I will get into the details of what exactly this show I think will be about and what will come of it and why they're making a show specifically about those two. I will let you know in a different video, but this is very, very big for comic book nerds and for big fans of the comics, especially recent comics and comic book fans of, say, the next Avengers or the Young Avengers. So I think that this is going to be very special. I think it's going to be... I don't want to give too much away. I'll make another video for this, but it's very important. I'm really excited for this series, and I'll let you know why in a separate video. But this is going to be huge, guys, because they're actually bringing MCU actors together to make these series. It's not like they're just making another animated, it's not just going to be some throwaway show. They're making this for a very specific purpose, and I believe I know what it is. But I'll keep that to myself for now. So next, we have a Falcon and Winter Soldier right here, Falcon and Winter Soldier TV series on the Disney Plus streaming service. So we've got Falcon, played by Anthony Mackie, Winter Soldier, played by Sebastian Stan. You'll notice that these are the two people that were the runner-ups to take the mantle of Captain America should he die, or if he should step down and pass the torch. Now, them getting a series again after Endgame does not mean that Cap dies. It doesn't mean that he is going to perish in Endgame, but it is kind of a very strong hint that something's going to happen where either he dies or B, he steps down. And if that's the case, this could very well be kind of like a Marvel's version of DC's Battle for the Cowl, where all the different Robins and sidekicks and understudies of the Batman end up trying to take the mantle to see who should be the next Batman once Bruce Wayne goes missing. So this could be something like that, where these two have to team up or side mission or something, or maybe Cap sends them on a mission together and they need to go do something. So it doesn't mean that he's dead. It is a strong indicator that he's dead, but we don't know. And so nevertheless, again, not clear whether or not it's going to take place as a prequel before Infinity War or if it's going to be after the events of Avengers Endgame. We're not sure. So that's another reason. So number 6 is Loki. So this is very, very interesting, okay? So Loki is getting a new series starring Tom Hiddleston coming to Disney Plus. Now, this I think is really important because Loki was not one of the people that died at the hands of the Infinity Stones. So he didn't just die from the snap. He got killed by Thanos brutally. He choked him and he died, and then he snapped his neck, and he did that in front of Thor, his brother. So this is very interesting, whether it's going to be a prequel, whether the fan theory is that Loki faked his death again and tricked even the mighty Thanos, the Mad Titan, into believing that he actually had perished. It's a very interesting theory. There's a lot that goes to that. I don't hold a lot of stake in that. I think that something's going to happen in Endgame to bring certain people back or move the timeline so that certain events transpire differently. So I think that Loki is going to come back. I do personally believe that all these will not be prequels. I believe these will be ongoing series, and that these characters are going to somehow be revived. I do personally believe that, and I'm not upset by that either. I think it's a good move. And the reason why I think it's a good move is because if you follow the pattern of the different series that are on here, it points to something very specific, and including Loki. I'm not going to get into that, but again, this is a huge reason why comic book fans are going to probably abandon their $9 a month to $11 a month at Netflix and probably shift over to the Disney Plus streaming service because it's huge. And it's basically going to give us everything we want. Now, there is also a Marvel series that's coming. Let me see if I can find the tweet for this, all right? Let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find it. This might have been a little bit older because this was a piece of news that I just hadn't covered at the time, but I believe it already came out, so it might not be here in the immediate. I might have to just search for an article. All right, so there's a series here called Marvel What If, and I'm going to go to IGN for this one. They talk about Marvel's WandaVision series and the What If series. So I'm going to go ahead and try to hone on just the What If series. So let's see. As for the What If series, let me see if I can open this one up and get in here. Marvel reportedly to produce a What If series for Disney Plus. So we know that this is actually correct at this time. We know that this has been confirmed. And you guys can do the research as well. This is a slightly older article before it was totally confirmed. But Marvel is reportedly set to produce an animated series based on the popular What If comics for the upcoming Disney Plus streaming service. And basically, it just says, What If comics are essentially theoretical stories that are created for fun. Fan service issues that had no bearing on any Marvel canon or continuity. And the Disney Plus series will reportedly operate the same way. So let me just summarize what this is, okay? So if you guys hadn't heard about the Marvel What If, basically, they did announce the first episode is going to be, what if Steve Rogers didn't get the super soldier serum? What if it was actually Peggy Carter that had been volunteered for this procedure, and she became the Captain America of that day, which would be interesting because she's British, but nevertheless, what if she had taken the serum and he didn't, but he still went on journeys with her and they were still kind of like a dynamic super couple? That would have been really, really cool. And so this What If series is going to do kind of like super episodes where each episode is kind of like its own little story, right? And you can just say, I don't know, what if it wasn't Tony Stark who created the Iron Man suit? What if it was Ant-Man? Or, you know, you can just kind of come up with these wonderful, fantastical episodes of just like, it doesn't really mean much for the MCU. However, the cool thing is that even though it's an animated series, they will be using the original characters and actors from the MCU, from the actual MCU. So if you're going to have Captain America, that means that Chris Evans will voice him. And if you're going to have Peggy Carter, you're going to have the chick that played her. I can't remember what her name is. Haley Atwell. If you're going to have Haley Atwell play Peggy Carter. And so that's kind of what that is. So that's coming there as well. And that to me is basically the gist. That is the highlighting aspect of what fans do in their spare time. It's kind of like a series of what ifs. Like what if Magneto had fought Iron Man? Iron Man would be destroyed. You know what I mean? And it's like you get to have these what if scenarios where maybe it didn't actually happen, but you can make it happen because of this what if series. So I'm really excited about that as well. I think that's really awesome. And even though it's animated, they're bringing the actual talent. Like Anthony Mackie is Falcon. If he makes an appearance in that series, it's actually Anthony Mackie. It's not going to be someone playing Anthony Mackie. And I think that's going to help keep the quality really nice. And that's something that Kevin Feige had said as well, is that their intention is that it will be MCU level quality. Even though it's animated, they're not going to put any less effort into making it a great series And for that reason, they're going to keep the original talent voicing their actual characters. So that's really cool. I think that's awesome. And then can you do 10 reasons why Disney Plus can't kill Netflix's? Hunter Iggy, I appreciate the comment. I would have to think long and hard about that. I might have to do a 5 reason because I honestly don't know if I can think of reasons why it won't kill Netflix. Actually, I can think of 10 reasons. I'll do a counter video. You're right. I'll do a counter video and come up with several reasons why Netflix won't be crushed by Disney Plus. And I think part of it is all about your fan base and what they're into watching. So people who are into Bird Box are not necessarily going to have the exact same watch list as people who watch like the Marvel content. It's not the same. It's close in some regards, but it's totally a different beast. And I think Netflix will have all of their originals like the Umbrella Academy to bank on. Those things are going to keep Netflix alive because they've developed a fan base over time to some of this original content. There's a lot of people that don't want franchise films and franchise TV. They just want original stories. And I'm okay with that too, which is why I'm not going to be canceling Netflix. I like Netflix, but I will definitely be going to Disney as well. They're going to take my money for sure. And so the next thing on this list, so we talked about it's cheaper, the Mandalorian series, all the Star Wars movies available after year 1, WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, Marvel What If, and let me see if I can find this here. There is also, if it'll scroll, let me see if I can get this to, where did it go? I'm just going to announce it. That way you guys can have something to do while I'm talking about this. But it's the Hawkeye series. So they announced a Hawkeye series with Jeremy Renner. And so Jeremy Renner will be coming back for that series. Let me see if I can find it. They've been announcing so much stuff. It's really difficult to like scroll through and find absolutely everything I'm trying to point out to you guys. But it's pretty cool. So like, let me see if I can just go here. Disney Twitter Hawkeye series. So Hawkeye starring Jeremy Renner in the works at Disney Plus. So this one's in the works. Let me see if I can find the link to the actual Disney Plus from Disney themselves. A lot of these articles are coming from other news sites like Variety. Let me see if maybe Marvel Studios has the lowdown on this one. Paul Bettany, Anthony Mackie, Loki. Yeah, there's a lot going on. I can't find the exact tweet, guys. I'm really sorry. It disappeared in the massive flood of tweets. But nevertheless, it's so critical to me that they're going to be doing a Hawkeye series for 2 reasons. One, we haven't gotten to see enough of this guy. 2, he is... I have a theory video that I will be making very soon, so I'm not going to spoil the entire thing. But I believe, just like some of these other TV series, I have one theory for all of these TV series that have been announced by Disney, and it fits all of them, every single one. I personally believe that this will be very important and critical for fans of the recent comics in Marvel, like the next Avengers and the Young Avengers. I do believe that this will be something that is going to be Easter egged in Endgame, and I do believe that this is something that is going to be the entire premise of the Hawkeye series. And then by the end of all of these series runs, we're going to get a whole new flipped over series with new characters. That's what I think. And so it's very cool that we're finally going to get a series about Hawkeye because we didn't get anything with him there. It also brings to question whether or not they should do a series for Black Widow, like a spy series, or if they should do just move forward with her movie. I do believe they're supposed to start filming her movie by the end of this year. But if not, I think this would also be a very good avenue to go because it would provide more content for the streaming service customers. So nevertheless, there's so much. So if you're a Marvel fan, the gist of like most of these points, right, is that if you're a Marvel fan, you basically can't afford to not have this streaming service. So there will be a removal of almost every single Marvel related thing on Netflix. Almost everything will be pulled. And I think the only things that will probably remain are anything that was created originally by Netflix, like Daredevil, Punisher, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, The Defenders. I think that those things will remain there. Now, obviously, they've been canceled, which means that they're not going to keep making those franchises. They're done, but they will stay there. The ones that already exist will stay there to be played on Netflix. That will remain. And so if you want to rewatch those things, I believe you will have to go to Netflix, which I think is a good move on Netflix's part, but who knows? Maybe they'll release those and you won't be able to watch those anymore. And then they'll put those on the Disney streaming service. That would be very, very cool. All right, so now here we go to the big stuff, okay? So this, I think I'm going to have to Google search. No more Disney Vault, okay? So let's go here. So if you guys aren't aware of what the Disney Vault is, the Disney Vault is a giant... Oops. Disney Vault is a giant amalgamation of what all the videos and all the movies and TV shows that they've created over the years. If they don't necessarily go onto DVD, they go in the vault, and that becomes a storage bin for everything Disney ever. So even things that weren't just like animated cartoons, it could be a live action thing. I'm not sure exactly off the top of my head what would be one of those things. It could be like a live action, I don't know, like maybe, I don't know even if this is, but like Roger Rabbit, for instance, might possibly be one of those things. Don't quote me on that because I don't for a fact. So fact check me there. But Disney is ending its Vault program to give Disney Plus a huge boost. And when it says huge, it literally means huge. It's going to be absolutely massive. So if you guys didn't know, let me see if I can find this. Here we go. Read this with me, okay? In 1 year, you'll be able to rediscover more than 7,500 episodes and 500 films from our library on Disney Plus. So did you hear that? 7,500 episodes of Disney TV shows, live action and animated, and over 500 original Disney movies from their library will be on Disney Plus. That's insane. So like shortly after the release, I believe most of this is supposed to be right around the launch of Disney Plus. But in the few months following the launch of Disney Plus, they will have uploaded 7,500 episodes to be watched. I'm imagining this is probably like That's So Raven, this is Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Literally like anything you grew up on Disney Channel, they have it on there. It's all going to be there. And same with like 500 movies. I didn't even know Disney had 500 movies. That's insane. I would have guessed something like 250. And that would have been a high estimation. They have a lot of movies, but that's a lot of movies. 500 films is crazy. So, and then not to mention the Simpsons, right? So I think we're basically at number 10 now. So now that we've covered this, imagine everything you grew up watching Disney. It's all at your fingertips, and you can play that for yourself, your wife, your kids, your husband, whoever you are, whatever walk of life you're in. You have that. You have that at your disposal. You don't have to wait around for that anymore. And so, like, if you want your kids to know what it's like to grow up on Even Stevens, then you can. They can. You can just play it. You know, that's crazy. That's insane, dude. And so I'm freaking loving this, man. I absolutely love this. Now, the last thing I wanted to say was competition, right? So competition, let's look at other streaming services that are out there, right? They have the Warner Brothers DC Universe, which is where they put all the like Superman, Batman, Flash, Wonder Woman, every Shazam, any kind of DC content, DC Comics content goes onto that platform. That's where it's going. And so that has been very wonderful. It's very cheap. It's like $7 or something like that. It's basically the same price. I think it's like $7 or $7.99, maybe $1 more. than this Disney streaming service, which is crazy to think because this library is way bigger. But then you compare it to like Netflix, which has a vast library, a lot of things to watch, but it's also more expensive. So you're paying a few bucks more for possibly a comparable library size, possibly at launch. At launch for these guys, for Disney, it's going to be insane. You'll never finish any like of the content. You'll have to rewatch. Like it's insane. Like you'll never get through it. And I'm freaking out. It's so crazy. But then with Netflix, the DC universe, you talk about Hulu's got a bunch of original content now. Amazon's got tons of content. But of all of these, I don't know that any of these things had as big a library at their disposal as Disney will. That's massive. So you talk about the and then there's, not to mention that, but like you look at Netflix being the closest in value, but still not as good. And then you look at DC Universe being close in price, but not nearly as much library. Disney Plus will outperform and outprice both of those. It's insane. And that's pretty much why I think that Netflix will be crushed. Because a lot of people go to Netflix for these things, for Disney or for Pixar or for like kids shows and things like that, or maybe for some of the Marvel content. And now you won't have any of that. So now they're really going to have to step up. Netflix is really going to have to start creating more and more and more content very actively. And they are doing that all the time. But they're going to have to start making a lot more content for families and for kids, because they do not have a lot of content that's original that are for kids and families. Guillermo del Toro has been making a lot of stuff for them, like what's it called? The Arcadia, something Arcadia, and then also what's it called? I have the Funko Pops over here. Troll Hunters, that's what it is. Troll Hunters. And those were really good. But they need more of that. They need a lot more of that if they're ever going to hope to compete with Disney. And so I think they're going to be crushed under the heel of Disney. And I hope they survive. I hope they're doing okay. I hope they step up and just keep making new content, because that's what I want for them. I want them to succeed. But also, now you look at National Geographic. So this one was very interesting. Let me see if I can get here. So you see this one here. A lot of the National Geographic library will be coming to Disney Plus, and they're going to be creating new documentaries and new movies and short films and things like that about animals and about the world and things that National Geographic does all the time, which is super cool. I mean, people who you got kids or anything, or even if you're just someone who's just trying to learn about the world we live in, National Geographic is like one of the number one places people go for that kind of information, and Disney Plus has all of it. Like, they have it. So you're going to be able to see a ton of this stuff. I think what's it called? It was like The World According to Jeff Goldblum or something. Let me see if I could find that post. National Geographic. Sound of Music is freaking there. Malcolm in the Middle. Those kinds of things are all going there. The Simpsons will be making a Disney Plus their home. That's pretty cool too. So the Simpsons are going to Disney Plus. That's another thing. That's like number 11. That's like number 12 basically. I have two bonus ones for you: National Geographic and the Simpsons. And then I didn't even mention. Well, I guess I did mention, but I didn't really talk about it or count it. Was the Star Wars Cassian Andor series that will be coming. The guy who was in Rogue One. I think he was. What was his name? Diego Luna was the guy who acted that part. I can't remember if that's correct, but nevertheless. There's a lot of stuff coming to Disney, so I'm really, really excited about that. And yeah, so let me know what you guys are most excited for on the Disney streaming service. I know I talked a lot about like all these things. I was kind of scrolling over these tweets over and over. I know it can kind of seem a little bit repetitive. I was just trying to get to these things because it's kind of hard to find in this flurry. But I didn't even bring up Pixar. So like I didn't bring up any Pixar. Like, we're talking about The Incredibles. We're talking about Monsters, Inc. We're talking about Finding Nemo. Like, you're talking about some of the biggest animated stuff you've ever... Toy Story, freaking Toy Story, man. Like, all kinds of stuff. So, I hope that you guys are able to make a decision. about your spending. Are you going to be able to afford to stay on Netflix? Are you going to cut Hulu? Are you going to cut Amazon? Like, I don't think anyone who has Amazon is cutting Amazon. Most people have it because they have Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, you have Amazon Prime Video, and that's usually why people have it. But let me know, guys. I really want to hear from you guys what it is that you guys are interested in for the Disney streaming service. Are you going to be making that purchase? Are you guys going to be subscribing to their network? Because I, for one, will be. I'm definitely going to be doing that. There's no way I'm going to miss out on the Star Wars, on the Marvel content. Frick, I'm even excited about the National Geographic stuff, man. I'm really, really excited. Disney, yes, I'm excited. I'm not like a massive Disney fan. I am, but I'm not. You know, it's not that crazy for me. And then same with Pixar. I'm not that crazy about those things, but my wife is. And, you know, and our family members are. So I'm definitely going to be having that because any new content they create is going there. And then you can expect that probably they're going to dip their feet in with the X-Men probably on this streaming service too. I would be willing to bet. I hope they do a TV series before they launch into some movies. I think that would be the best option because it's just the best way to give each character screen time and really get to know each character. I think that's the best formula and format because the X-Men aren't just a team. It's a team of very well-beloved characters that need time to be the star of their own stories. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm thinking. So let's take some comments before I close out. So we have Halam899 says, hey, first time watching. No, it's not. Unless you mean live, possibly live. But he's been a huge fan of me. He's always encouraging me in the comments, liking the videos. I really appreciate it. I want an X-Men TV show about the less known characters about their school life at the X-Mansion. I agree. I totally, if they did some sort of like X-Men Evolution type thing, but live action, I would be loving it. I love that show. And I hope that they do something where they can explore lesser known characters. That would be wonderful. I fully agree with you. Superboy show from the 80s is low-key pretty good. Oh, you mean on the DC streaming service? I haven't gotten a chance to watch that. I need to check that out because I'm trying to get through all these different sources of content and whatnot. I just haven't made my way around there. I think right now I'm working on Birds of Prey, which is really, it's pretty cool. It's really cheesy and stuff. I think it's even pre-Smallville, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun to watch. And then Superboy show. Oh, we already talked about it. Amazon is my favorite show. Expanse. That's really cool. I haven't gotten a chance to watch a ton on there. Typically, what I do on Amazon is I'll buy older TV shows like X-Men Evolution, and I'll buy it there on Amazon Prime Video. And then from there, I just watch a lot of this stuff, like the old X-Men TV show from the 90s, the Spider-Man 90s TV series. I bought all those complete series, so I have those. I rewatch those all the time. I love that. So Amazon is a great source. I will not be cutting Amazon for sure. DC has lots of content probably. Don't forget, it has comics on their DC streaming service. Of course, that's one thing about the DC streaming service that's really cool people don't know, is that they have a growing library of DC comics that are constantly being uploaded to the streaming service. And it's an app, so you can access from your phone, from your tablet, from your desktop computer, from your TV. It's great. I really love the DC streaming service. I'm really happy with it. Watch Titans, Doom Patrol. It's really cool. And Doom Patrol is way more adult than any of the other superhero shows I've ever seen. Almost to the point where it's a turnoff. But you guys should check. If you guys are over 18, you might want to check out Doom Patrol because it's weird, it's bizarre, but it's also fun. And so it's an interesting show. I'm certain it's not for everybody, but go check it out. And then also, let's see. From all the MCU shows, I'm most hyped for the Scarlet Witch show. I know, I'm really excited for that. I think I'm most excited for the Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, Falcon and Winter Soldier series because I'm curious to see what they're going to do and how they do it. I like both those actors a lot. Now, I am very excited for Wanda and Vision because I know what that relationship entails. In the comics, if you're a fan, I know what that entails. So I'm very excited, and that's the primary reason why I believe the theory that I have. I'll share with you guys in a separate video about these services. So I agree. I'm really excited about that, and I'm really excited for Hawkeye too. And I'm just excited about all of it. So, but most excited, Winter Soldier and Falcon. And then let's see. In my opinion, we are we are 100% getting an X-Men Evolution type of live action show on Disney Plus. I would sure hope so. If they do a movie, I hope that they do a movie about the original 5 X-Men without Wolverine, without like Gambit, and I love those characters, but I hope they give screen time to the first 5, build their relationships, build their characters, and then do a streaming service TV show where those 5 are mentoring new mutants, right? And then those new mutants are in high school and they're doing like that thing. And then in another movie, you introduce Wolverine, you introduce a few others like Alpha Flight or something like that. I hope they take their time and break up the X-Men, because that's way too... Do not introduce the X-Men all at once. It undermines everybody, probably except for Wolverine. And that's the bummer, I think, about the Bryan Singer X-Men world, which is a universe I love. I love those movies, but they just feel like Wolverine and Friends, and it doesn't feel like the X-Men. And so that's what I would say is just break it up, dude. Give everyone screen time. Give different things. Start several different series. You know, like the X-Men it's a whole world. It's a whole world within Marvel. It's mutants, and you can't just skim over 20 of your favorite characters. Otherwise, it feels like you didn't take the time to build it. And so that's what I say about that. Next, we have... What are your thoughts on Netflix using anime to take on Disney? Oh, so anime. So like if Netflix was to start creating anime series, yeah, they would definitely stand out against Disney by a lot. And I think one thing that really stood out to me, which was like a pseudo anime, it was kind of an anime inspired art style, was the Dragon Prince. Dragon Prince was really, really good. It was amazing. Awesome TV show. I can't wait for more. They're going to be uploading more, I think, either by the end of the year or something like that. But yeah, anime would be a good way for Netflix to fight back against Disney, because Disney doesn't do that. And so that would be a whole fandom, a whole market that Netflix would just automatically become the king of. And Disney would have really nothing to fight back. They tried to do that, like the Star Wars cartoon, like anime inspired animated series. I can't remember what it was called now, but I forget. But I obviously haven't seen it, and if it hasn't come out yet, or if it did come out yet, I didn't know, and so I haven't watched it. I imagine it's probably not doing so hot. It's probably a decent show. I haven't seen it, and I haven't heard anything about it either, which doesn't bode well because I pay attention to these things. So then what's your, so we already did that. It has too many streaming services. I don't know what it is. Maybe what you're saying is there's too many streaming services. Yeah, there is. It's getting to the point where we're now, all of us fans of like all these streaming services are going to start paying the same price as cable TV again. And it's going to get back up to there because we have so many different platforms. That's not even including sports fans who want to get like HBO Go or something like that. So, yeah, it's weird if you're trying to keep the cost down. Now we have 4 or 5 streaming platforms that most of us consider a must have. So you end up paying $50-$60 anyway, or $70. So, I think as long as you keep it below 100, you're not really paying cable prices anyway. So it's still a good deal in my opinion. DC Universe isn't in the UK. Oh, that's a bummer. I know they have Titans on Netflix, and that's probably a huge reason why people in the UK are going to stick with Netflix, because you get some of your DC content through there, which is unique. And maybe they'll partner up with DC and say, hey, let's make some Netflix level stuff, and then maybe have some shared stuff like the UK people get to experience it on Netflix, and then you guys can host the rest of it on your streaming platform in the United States and elsewhere. That would be really cool. Let me see. I love the Doom Patrol comics, as it seems their writers was on something when it... Yeah, it does seem like the writers were high when they wrote the series, but at the same time, it seems really like wacky and zany, really odd, and it's going for that like weird factor. Now, they did a really good job going into detail with the characters. I liked that much. And I hope that Marvel does the same kind of thing with the X-Men, where they really get into and dig into each character. That's what I hope for, and that's what I want. So Doom Patrol did that really well with their characters. And their characters were nobodies. Their characters were people who are fans of DC did not know about, didn't care about. They were like a long shot. It was like them trying to do Guardians of the Galaxy, but really weird. And not fun weird. It's like weird. So that's what they did. And then I'm going to probably cut it right now because this video is going really long. I'll take one more question. X-Men and Fantastic Four have the best characters in my opinion. That's what they need to do it right. And that's why they need to do it right. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. X-Men and Fantastic Four are one of the greatest elements to the Marvel Universe. And it's been a bummer that they haven't had those, but it's also equally impressive that they have been able to build a cinematic universe to this level without those characters. And now, after the next 5 years, so not after Endgame, but 5 years after Endgame, we'll start to see the X-Men and the Fantastic Four because they already have the next 5 years written out, planned out, mapped out. They know what they're going to do. They don't want to shift those plans and change those plans unless they can simply add to those plans. So the MCU isn't going to change for the X-Men and the Fantastic Four entirely just yet, but they might do an after credit in Endgame, like rush an after credit to do an explanation for mutants becoming part of that universe and just tease it, throw it out there into the ether and let the fans just stew on it and be excited. And then 5 years after that, after the next Avengers level film, then we'll get to start seeing the X-Men and the Fantastic Four in the MCU. So I'm really excited. That's pretty much it for me. I'm going to cut it right here. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. So you guys, let me know down in the comments if you guys agree with my list and my lineup, if that's going to be enough to pull audiences away from Netflix and then plop them into the Disney Plus streaming service. Is Netflix going to get crushed by Disney, or are they totally separate, and are they going to have totally different fan bases? You guys let me know down below, and I'll try to make another video at some point soon about why Netflix will survive and will be okay. So anyways, you guys, let me know down below. Thank you so much for staying tuned for this entire video. It's been really long, but I appreciate you guys sticking with me. It's been a lot of news to cover, and I will make separate videos for most of the content we talked about today on my list of 10 reasons so that we can really get into the nitty-gritty and talk about maybe my theories about what these shows are about, the different platforms, and what the Star Wars content, the National Geographic content, the Marvel content, the Disney, Pixar, and all that stuff is going to entail down below specifically. So you guys are the best. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you can be alerted right away when I go live next time. That way you guys won't miss a thing, and you can join me right here in the comments section. That way we can have a conversation in the live, and you can be part of the Stuff of Legend. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. Stay tuned for more right here on the Stuff of Legend.